Hey guys, this is Ryan with Mom on Mission, and today I'm joining in hosting a collaboration with Ingrid over at the Ingrid Chronicles. And each week for the next few weeks, we are going to be letting you know what we use for the different subjects in our homeschools. This is a time of year when people are wrapping up their current years and kind of planning ahead for next year. And so I thought this would be a good resource just to have a playlist of all the different things that we use. I personally am not going to do a very thorough walkthrough of these things because I have videos walking through these things already, but this is just going to be kind of a introduction to what I use and what I think of it and the pros and cons of it. So that way, if this is something you're looking at, this is kind of a starting place to see if it's something you're even interested in or not. So language arts is what we're going to start with. Make sure that you check out the playlist that I will link down below. Check out Ingrid's channel. She's hosting this with me. But language arts is kind of a doozy for me because there's a lot of components to that. For our homeschool, we have 6 different aspects of language arts. And so I will show you what we use this year. We are going to be tweaking this a little bit next year because we just have it's kind of been overkill this year, to be honest. So I haven't decided yet how we're going to tweak it, but I'll just let you know what we used and what we thought about it. So for phonics, this year I only have, phonics doesn't apply to everyone because it's typically only for those younger kiddos. But this year I only have one kiddo in phonics, my first grader, but he is kindergarten age. Kind of has one of those weird August birthdays. We use the Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. I have used this for a few years now. I used it for my oldest and now for my middle son, and we love it. It is a very simple and straightforward way to teach phonics. They touch very little on sight words. They do more of just the phonetic approach, and it is very just scripted. It gives you a little background and then gives you things to say. And then there are, let me go to a better one here. There are bold print words that you read with your child, and then a little section that they read for themselves. So everything in the bigger print there, they will read and you will help them. And it's very straightforward, very cut and dry, but that's what I like about it. There's not a lot of fluff. It gets the job done. For let's see, writing, we use also from the Well-Trained Mind, the Writing with Ease. This is level 3 for my 3rd grader. My 1st grader has not started this yet. For 4th grade, my oldest son will be transitioning into Writing with Ease at level 4. And my 1st grader will be moving into 2nd grade next year, but will be starting with Writing with Ease level 1. And again, this, I really like the setup of it. It works on narration, copy work, dictation, and so you'll read a story or a section of a story, and then one day you might have to copy a sentence or a few sentences from that story. The next day you might have to narrate what you've read back to the parent, and then the parent might have to copy it down. It kind of mixes it up here and there. Again, I will link a video down below and in an iCard of my review of all of the Well-Trained Mind language arts if you are interested in a more in-depth look at these. But we love it. Again, it is not fluffy. There are very few, if any, pictures, but I like simple. So this is, and it's all laid out week by week. It has 36 weeks, 4 days a week. So it's pretty easy to schedule with it as well. And then for grammar, we also use the Well-Trained Mind, the first language lessons. And this comes with, this is level 3 for my 3rd grader. So it also came with a workbook that we've kind of been tearing out of. And this is pretty simple too. It typically has a little bit of teaching, and it's very scripted again, so you don't have to plan a lot. And then it has some example problems toward the end where your kid, has to take whatever they've learned and put it to paper. So there was a lot of diagramming in grade 3. There wasn't prior to grade 3 really. And again, simple, cut and dry, but we like it like that. We save the fluffy stuff, the fun stuff for like morning time. So this I highly recommend. The only thing, sometimes we did have, we never did the optional follow-up because typically once you got through the problems, you were pretty burnt out, or at least I was. I didn't want to do anymore. He didn't want to do anymore. And a lot of times we would do the compromise, like, especially once we got to the sentence diagramming, I would kind of walk him through one, and then I would say, okay, if you can do one or two more without my help, then I'm not going to make you do the whole page of sentence diagramming. So he has enjoyed this. I have enjoyed this. It averages out, I like in the back, the way we do it, it averages out to about 3 lessons a week. But in the back, it gives you options on how to use it. So it has 36 weeks of work, and you would do about 3 lessons a week. Occasionally you might have 4, but I think it's almost always 3 lessons a week. And the reason why they give you those 3 different options of how to do it is because there is I think 89 actual just regular lessons, but then in the back you have lessons on dictionary skills, so how to look things up in a dictionary, which kind of seems to be a lost art with all of this technology where you just have to Google everything. But I do want him to know how to use a dictionary, so we do do that. And then there's a whole section on writing letters, so how to write a formal letter, a friendly letter, how to address an envelope, all the stuff like that. And then there is a section on oral usage, so just making sure that you know how to speak and write correctly. So things like your tenses, past, present, future, and just making sure all of your, like, avoiding double negatives and, you know, all that stuff that makes you sound smart when you speak correctly. So that is First Language Lessons for the Well-Trained Mind, Level 3. For 4th grade, my oldest son will be doing First Language Lessons Level 4, and my 2nd grader will be doing First Language Lessons Level 1. For vocabulary, we do not use the Well-Trained Mind. We use Wordly Wise. This is my 1st grader's book. I would show you my 3rd grader's book, but we actually had the binding cut off and just used the worksheets. He just wrote on the worksheet, so I don't have any of those. But I really like this. My kids actually think it's fun. It's one of their favorite subjects, which is kind of weird. This is set up a lot differently. The 1st grade level and kindergarten level are set up a lot differently than the older grades, but this just has a workbook and the teacher's text. I think from 2nd or 3rd grade on up, they only have the workbook, and it's just you typically have like a reading to do and then comprehension questions that help you get your vocabulary words down. You'll have and just a few worksheets to do. Typically we would take one lesson and stretch it over 2 weeks, and then take a test at the end. There is a test booklet, and then there's occasionally like review tests to just review your words. But it has done its job with my boys. I've found them using a lot of the words that they've learned using Wordly Wise. For 4th grade, my oldest son will be doing Wordly Wise 3000 Book 4. And for 2nd grade, my younger son will be doing Wordly Wise 3000 Book 2. So for spelling, I also don't have anything to show for that because we also cut the binding off those and used those worksheets. For 3rd grade, my oldest son has been using Spelling Workout Level C. And for 1st grade, my younger son has been using Spelling Workout Level A. But we use Spelling Workout, and it is your very normal, you have a spelling list and you have exercises, different, word crosswords, and just different word scrambles and fill in the blank type stuff, just typical worksheets, which I like because they can do themselves during their independent time. And I don't have to sit right there with them and do those things with them. I can be working with the other sibling while they are sitting there doing that. And then I give them a test at the end of the week. They don't necessarily require a test, but I just do because I prefer it that way. So for 4th grade, we'll be using spelling workout D, and for 2nd grade, we will be using spelling workout B. And handwriting. So for handwriting this year, we did not use a curriculum. That is one way that we kind of simplified things from last year, and I want to simplify again, but we just take whatever our Bible memory is that we're working on, or whatever our spelling words are, and we just practice writing. I think in the early years, it's pretty important to make sure that they're forming the letters correctly, so you can either just take the time and sit with them and do that, or you can use a curriculum. We did for a while use a curriculum for that. But after they know how to form letters, it's just practice makes perfect, in my opinion. So we just continue to do copy work with our memory work and with our spelling words. And then they occasionally will just write letters to friends and to family, just to keep them up to par with handwriting. And then with their actual writing curriculum and their grammar curriculum and all that, they're doing a lot of writing every day anyway, so I don't feel like I have to add a whole bunch more into that. My 1st grader does regular print. He will start practicing cursive in 2nd or 3rd grade. We'll kind of see how that goes. But my 3rd grader, I don't make him use cursive all the time, but when we're doing handwriting practice, he does have to use cursive because I want him to get familiar with that. So that is what we use for language arts. If you have a question about any of these books or any of the strategies that I use to use these books, just ask them down below. I'd love to help you out. We've used other things besides Well-Trained Mind, but it is so far our favorite. So make sure you check out the playlist down below to see what else is being used for language arts around here, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.